Greetings. All right. So last one for a little bit, and then I'll come back later tonight. See how things go. So very much more blessings. Greetings. I am Penelope with Ashtar Command. As we connect more. I am humanoid, a Palladian-like being. I'm a humanoid. There's no, you can call me a star being if you like to. I'm in fourth density. I don't label myself, my species. We don't label ourselves. A light being, a star being, that is fine. Some species don't want to call ourselves anything. One thing I want to say, what is happening on your earth, yes, is of a great change. In your next few months, some will begin to feel a radical change in point of view. Your government also will go through this. As your human population change, your government will fall, as they have no choice. As your human population will see more of a spiritual direction. Of course, still the mass market, the masses will still have a hard time seeing it. But we do see in the next few months a transition on many fronts. There is many, yes, manipulations on your planet at this time. And those reason other beings are bringing it up is because much of it will be lifted away gradually as your people become more synchronized with each other. These control systems that have been around you for such a long time will eventually lose their power, such as the draconian power that has been very mindful of themselves and not others, only caring for themselves for the most part and their entertainment. But for you, you're going to see more of a drastic change, not a fast one. But as some become more lighthearted towards each other, having bread in the next few months. Understand this isn't going to hit your evening news or anything like that. Also see a transition as for your Anunnaki, as many of the negative Anunnaki that are here at this time causing issues with your sun, the sun rays on your planet, manipulating the energies as the sun rays hit your planet. They do run it through a filter that causes human evolution to not grow spiritually as it could. They do have ways of manipulating sun glare that does connect to the human race. It is, of course, not seen because they are at a higher dimension, but they use it in certain parts of your world. They use it as another way of mind manipulations. As the sun rays hits you, but it's been filtered through their technologies. That way when you feel the sun energy, you are affected differently, meaning you are receiving their message that cause interference in your coherent thinking and growth also, where you cannot hear and see your spiritual connections as you become more physical and less enlightened. This has been done for some time on your planet. They are sneaky about it, but it does exist. It's not mass across your world, but there are certain areas of the world where they use it constantly in places where they do not want to be disturbed. So they keep humans on one side, and they will be on the other. Mostly your Anunnakis in your oceans at this time, but they do wander out throughout your societies but unseen. Even they get penalized if they are seen. So, and the penalties can be quite horrific to them, because many have tried it and they've been hurt by it. That's not always the case with Anunnaki. Usually, the negative ones at least cause much of distortion on your planet. They do like to take the family unit and take it apart. They're very good at that. They know exactly how to manipulate the young ones' minds and also the elderly into thinking in their patterns of selfishness. Even the elderly think more selfish sometimes, thinking they're just losing their minds. They're old, but actually it's actually an Anunnaki manipulation, where they do feel like their mind is going. In truth, it's actually an Anunnaki manipulation going on. You're not losing your mind. You're being attacked, unfortunately. The reason we are bringing these things up so you can bring a healing across your planet and to yourselves. As these forces are still here, but more awareness will come through as for healing practices. And many do have a great ego in this world, as there are many. Let them speak, because they are the most, depending on the human. Some are more controlled than others by mind manipulations. And those that have a great anger and bitterness against others are usually the most manipulated, because they have no love in their heart. It's mostly anger and bitterness towards others. They'd be surprised, because the beings are connecting to their insecurities and using them against them. As some of these that are bitter towards others have a great anger, these Anunnakis are using these people as tools, as some of your world would say. But of course, the ego does not let that come through fully and understood, because of the ego is so big. It's like, that would never happen to me. You'd be surprised. Depends on how much anger you have in your soul. If there's a lot of anger in the soul, the easier to manipulate the human. You understand? But your world will eventually become what we see as a possibility, as becoming more of itself, as for your humans seeing more of your potential. Your sun energy does help. Not to worry about the Anunnaki energy. You'll be able to detect that if you do. Now you're aware of it. Now you'll be able to remove that energy if you do feel it. Some of you do have a day of lost energies. There are some beings, reptilian, that are causing much of that, because they are fulfilling their own needs and not your needs, because you're coming close to something and they wish to drain your energy. And they do go into your astral state and cause much ruckus as for tiring you out. So when you come back into your life, into your awake state, you are very tired. They know what they're doing. And sometimes you can't get away from that. But as for Ashtar command, as always, we are monitoring this earth. And you can say in some ways we are the policemen in the universe to some degree, because of those that do get too close to interfere on your planet, as for alien, mostly of the negative nature, we do get involved with them. This is why we're mentioning it. In some ways we are, but we don't want to call ourselves that. But in some ways we can be called that, because those rules are in place by most of the Galactic Federation of Light, but also the Ashtar Command has much to do with keeping peace on worlds that are primitive as yours. Keeping the alien where the alien needs to be. When the human's ready for the alien, then the alien will be seen, but right now there's many lessons that need to be learned, and an alien will not help much at all. There's much fear on your planet at this time that alien interaction would ever happen. Those of you that are awakened, there'll be no fear. But those that aren't aware, there'll be much fear. There has to be a complete understanding across your planet. There is not yet. It's still in its infancy, as many are still going about their day, buying their goods, living their life as they think they should. Well, we tell you right now, there is an Anunnaki control grid that is still up and moving. It is of a negative nature, unfortunately. Much has to do with your politicians and how they think, and it has to do with your food system, mostly your food system. And for you to send healing to this, to send a positive message out to your Anunnaki foes, if whatever you want to call them, because their mind manipulation is working so well with those in the food industry. It's kind of difficult to have that group released, but at least you have an understanding of it, because many of your farmlands have many Anunnaki type bases not too far away. Some are small, some are large. There is an Anunnaki energy somewhere around there to keep the food poisoned for your humans. And how to clear this out is a difficult answer. For you to bless your food, if you do have more of a knowledge of what you're consuming, because they can't control everything. Also, they are, just like your Nordics, they are involved with the body images on your world also, to cause many to feel uncomfortable with themselves, also put the mindset of being unattractive. They're very good at that also. And loss of goodwill, loss of willpower, they're very good at that also. And for that, it's up to you to bring a healing to that. As for, this is why some aliens bring up crystal, a ruby crystal would be good for this. But whatever it feels comfortable for you. But you can will this away in a meditation. This knowledge I brought to you, you can see this in your own meditation and see what is happening. As many of your humans are being manipulated constantly, that's for causing your food sources to be where they are, your air supply to be as it is, your politicians as they are. A lot of it has to do with mind manipulations. As for your block projects, those don't want to worry so much about them, as those that you can see is the one is to send your goodwill to. As for freeing humanity from this grip, because it is of a much complicated source at this time. But we're saying this to only send you healing in your time. At this time. I will leave you be. Take care, humans. You are always loved, but love yourselves. Much love.